Hello, class. Neil Stewart here with my final speech for the year. For my speech, I decided to do a narrative. I'm going to tell a story about one of my friends, Jonathan. He's actually my neighbor. When we were a little bit younger, I was 16, Jonathan was 14, my buddy Joey was 14, and my buddy Charlie was 16. These are the four people that were along for this story. It was just a random summer night, right, probably 5 o'clock in the evening, and my two buddies Joey and Charlie, I played hockey with them, just came over. Charlie just got his driver's license, so he came over. They brought their bikes with them, and we wanted to go on a bike ride. We always rode our bikes everywhere, so it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. Jonathan lives two houses down, and John, for whatever reason, never really came out of his house a lot, and that certain summer we took him under our wing, and he was hanging out with us, so he's like, yeah, I want to come along for the bike ride. So like, all right, we're ready to go. Head down from my house as a starting point. We head down. Mind you, like, it's starting to get a little bit dark at this point, and we're like, whatever, we're going to go on a ride. We have some time. Go down to Irwin Sunoco, which is a gas station right by my house. Fuel up, get some drinks and candy and stuff. I'm like, whatever, let's go. No destination on this trip at all. Continue along the path. We go like by Giant Eagle and stuff. Like, we're just riding, nothing, nothing out of the ordinary. It's nothing good happens. Just a random bike ride. Stop at Giant Eagle. Figure out which way we're gonna go. And right across the road, where there's a Sheetz now and a Walmart, it used to be a golf course, and they were building a Walmart on top of the hill. So we got to Route 30, and we're like, all right, we're gonna cross right here. We're gonna go up this way and check it out and see what it looks like. So we cross the road, head on up. It's called Barnes Lake Road, and we look, and there's a dirt road where there's a paved part of the road. So we're like, me and Charlie, the older brother who's 16, are like, let's go up the dirt road. Let's see what's going on up here. We have mountain bikes, so let's take them up. Joey and Jonathan didn't want to go up the dirt road, which was fine. We told them just go up the paved road. We'd meet them, but they ended up just following us up anyways. So we got on top where there was a construction site for Walmart, and they were just digging the dirt. There was no building there or anything. It was just dirt roads. We were chilling up there for a little bit, and then we're like, all right, gonna keep riding. And Jonathan didn't ride a bike a ton before this, but he was just, it was just a fluke. We start riding, John flew out in front of us, was speeding down the hill, and like I said, it was getting dark. Out of nowhere, I was right behind him. I just see his bike, just fly over the handlebars, and like you just heard the noise of like a bike falling over, like crashing. I flew by him. What ended up, he hit like a 2-foot by 2-foot pothole, and when he just hit, never put his hands up, went over the handlebars and smashed his face directly into the ground. And I came up right behind him, went past him. Charlie had a light on his bike, so he pulled up, him and Joe, right after. Get off my bike, go back. Jonathan's laying face first on the ground, not responsive at all. So I picked him up and, tried to see if I could get him, conscious again. I looked, and his face was just done. Blood everywhere, all over his jacket. Finally, like, he came back, and, like, I just seen all the cuts on his face. Like, his nose was probably over here. Like, it was broken. I knew it was broken immediately. Gushing blood everywhere, and I was like, John, open up your mouth. I want to see if you have any teeth left, dude. And like, he didn't even know where he was. Really concussed. Could hardly talk. And he opened his mouth, and he bit his tongue in half too. Like, it just kept getting worse. Everywhere we looked, he was just more messed up. Finally, like, we're like, all right, we did react. We were young. We're like, we gotta call someone. So we called my mom, and my brother had his permit. And they came and picked us up, put all of our bikes in the bed of the truck, and took us to the hospital. But before I called my mom, I was like, well, I got to call Jonathan's parents first. And I was like, I really didn't want to call his dad, so I called his mom's cell phone. and it rang and rang, and finally, like the last ring, his dad picks up, and I was like, oh man, I gotta tell him. And his dad's name's Frank. He flipped out. He was going crazy. Rush him to the hospital, and get in there, and they're taking down his information stuff. The emergency room. They're asking him questions. They're like, "What's your name, John?" And he says his name, and then they ask him the date, and then he says his name again. I was like, he got blasted. Like, turns out John, they said that he should have been life flighted. He had a cracked skull, major concussion, bit his tongue in half, broke his nose, and he had a gravel dug out of like below, like in his gums, because like when he hit, it just went right in his mouth. Luckily, he didn't lose any teeth. He was in the hospital for probably a week, but I mean, he took a bad hit and it messed him up for a good part of the summer. But Jonathan today says that crash was for the better, so we'll take it how it is. But it was a pretty scary time in my life, and I look back and you learn a lot from stuff like that. But that's my final speech. Had a great year. Thanks for listening.